the smell of sawdust and regret. The first thing Thomas Harlan ever built with his own hands was a crib. It was 1978, and the world still smelled like possibility. Oak planks from the mill where he worked third shift. He planed them smooth in the garage of their little house on Maple Lane, the one with the cracked sidewalk and the lilac bush Clara loved. She was 7 months pregnant, glowing, humming "You Are My Sunshine" while painting tiny yellow stars on the headboard. Thomas sanded until his fingers blistered, then kept sanding. The crib had to be perfect. Nathan, already named, already loved, deserved perfection. Nathan arrived on a Tuesday in October, screaming like a banshee, fists clenched like he was ready to fight the world. Thomas held him first, Clara too exhausted to sit up. The baby's eyes, storm gray, just like his mother's, locked on Thomas's face, and in that moment, Thomas made a silent vow, "I will build you a life better than mine." He rocked Nathan in that crib every night for 2 years. The lullaby was always the same. "You are my sunshine, my only sunshine," Clara would lean in the doorway, arms crossed, smiling. "You're gonna spoil him, Tommy." "Let him be spoiled," Thomas would whisper. "He's gonna be somebody." The crib outlasted the marriage's innocence. By 1985, Clara was sick, lupus, the doctor said, aggressive. Thomas took extra shifts. The crib became a toy chest. Nathan, now 7, filled it with Legos and Matchbox cars. Thomas built bunk beds next. Then a treehouse. Then a go-kart from scrap lumber. Every project was a promise, "I'm here. I'm building." Clara died in 1995. Nathan was 17. The funeral was small, just Thomas, Nathan, and a handful of mill workers. Nathan didn't cry. He stood rigid in his black suit, staring at the casket like it had betrayed him. That night, Thomas found him in the garage, smashing the go-kart with a hammer. "Stop," Thomas said, grabbing his arm. "That's yours." "I don't want it." Nathan screamed. "I don't want any of this." He left for college the next week. Didn't come home for Thanksgiving. Didn't call on Christmas. Thomas kept building. Birdhouses. Porches. A cedar chest for Clara's things. He mailed Nathan a hand-carved keychain for graduation. It came back returned to sender. By 2005, Nathan was married to Vanessa, blonde, ambitious, daughter of a Pittsburgh steel magnate. The wedding was at a country club Thomas couldn't afford. He wore his only suit, the one from Clara's funeral. Nathan shook his hand like a stranger. Vanessa smiled thinly. "We're keeping it intimate." Thomas gave them a handmade dining table, walnut, 8 feet long, inlaid with Clara's favorite quote, "Love grows where hands build." They sold it on Craigslist 6 months later. The grandchildren came, Liam in 2018, Ava in 2020, Noah in 2022. Thomas sent cards. Booties he knitted during sleepless nights. A rocking horse for Liam's first birthday. All returned unopened. The last contact was a text in 2023. "Dad, stop. The kids don't know you. We're building our own life." Thomas sat in the garage, now a workshop behind his ranch house in rural Pennsylvania. The air smelled of sawdust, linseed oil, and the ghost of Clara's lavender. He was 71, hands trembling when he held a chisel. On the workbench, a half-finished music box. Walnut. Gears he'd machined himself. A lullaby mechanism that played "You Are My Sunshine," the song Nathan used to beg for. He opened a drawer. Inside, 45 birthday cards. One for each year Nathan had been alive. The top one read, "To Nathan, age 45. Love, Dad." He wrote them every year. Mailed them. They came back. He closed the drawer. The music box needed one more gear. The stranger in the diner. Every Tuesday, Thomas ate at Mama June's Diner on Route 30. Same booth by the window. Same order, 2 eggs over easy, rye toast, black coffee. The waitresses knew him, called him Mr. T. The truckers nodded. He tipped in quarters, stacked neatly. One Tuesday in March, a man in a camel hair coat sat across from him uninvited. "Mr. Harlan?" Thomas looked up. The man was 60-ish, silver-haired, Rolex glinting. "I'm Elias Whitmore, attorney at law. May I?" Thomas nodded. The man slid a thick envelope across the formica. "My client passed last month. He left you everything." Thomas frowned. "I don't know any rich dead men." "You knew Reginald Crane." The name hit like a 2x4 to the temple. Reginald Crane had been Thomas's foreman at the mill in 1985. Quiet. Kind. Always slipping Thomas extra shifts when Clara's medical bills piled up. He'd vanish for days, then return with stories of business in Pittsburgh. In '89, he quit without notice. Rumors said he'd gone west. Made a fortune in timber tech. Built an empire selling sustainable lumber to Silicon Valley. The envelope contained a deed to 500 acres in Montana prime forest, a lake, a cabin. Stock certificates in Crane Timber Tech, $28,000,000. A safety deposit key. A letter in Reginald's handwriting, shaky but unmistakable. "Tommy, you were the only man who ever treated me like family. I had none. You gave me yours, invited me to Clara's birthday, taught me to carve a turkey, let me hold Nathan when he was born. I watched from afar your boy's wedding, I was in the back, Clara's funeral, I sent the lilies, the way Nathan cut you out like dry rot. I saw it all. This isn't charity. It's justice. Build something that lasts. P.S. The music box gear you need? Check the cabin's attic. Reg." Thomas's eggs went cold. The diner spun. Mama June herself, Martha June, 75, apron stained with 30 years of gravy, poured him more coffee. "You okay, Mr. T?" He showed her the letter. She read it twice, eyes widening. "Lord have mercy. You're a millionaire." Thomas stared at the envelope. "I'm a father first." The auction of absence. The invitation came in a matte black box, delivered by a courier in a Tesla. No return address. Inside, a single card, embossed in silver. "You are invited to bid on the absence of Thomas Harlan. Lot 9, 1 calendar year of guaranteed non-interference from a forgotten father. No calls. No visits. No guilt. No inheritance claims. Professionally enforced. Opening bid, $1 million. A Polaroid was clipped to the card, Thomas at 70 stooped, gray, alone in his workshop, carving the music box. Caption in Nathan's handwriting, "He won't bother you again." Thomas's hands shook so badly he dropped the box. The Polaroid fluttered to the floor like a dead bird. He called Martha June. She arrived with coffee, biscuits, and fury. "They're auctioning your absence? Like you're a damn timeshare?" "I want in," Thomas said. "On yourself?" "I want to bid. Through a proxy. I want to watch them sell me, then buy me back." Martha grinned, eyes gleaming. "You're not just rich now, Tommy. You're lethal." They built a team in her diner after closing. Juno, 35, ex-convict Carpenter Thomas mentored in prison outreach. Tattooed, fierce, loyal. Rico, 28, hacker who fixed Thomas's ancient shortwave radio with a paperclip and spite. Delphine, 72, retired forger who once made Thomas a fake ID so he could attend Nathan's college graduation. Nathan never showed. They created Mr. Boone, a Montana rancher with oil money, a limp from a bull riding accident, and a voice like gravel soaked in whiskey. Delphine forged documents. Rico built a crypto wallet. Juno practiced the limp. Thomas practiced silence. The auction was held in a glass-walled penthouse atop 1 Vanderbilt, 1,400 feet above Manhattan. The city glittered below like a circuit board. Helicopters buzzed. Champagne flowed from ice sculptures. The air smelled of money, desperation, and ozone. Thomas arrived as Mr. Boone Stetson, bolo tie, boots polished to a mirror. A limp from an old mill injury, exaggerated for effect. Juno sat front row, paddle 77, eyes like a hawk. Nathan and Vanessa were already there. Nathan in a $15,000 suit, hair slicked with product, eyes darting like a cornered animal. Vanessa in diamonds that could fund a small nation, clutching a tablet that lip-tracked bids. Their children Liam, Ava, Noah were nowhere. Probably with a nanny in the Hamptons. The auctioneer, Cash and Vale, had a voice like velvet wrapped around a switchblade. Lot 1, the last voicemail of a disgraced senator, I'm sorry, America. Opening bid, $250,000. Paddles flashed like gunfire. Thomas sipped bourbon Pappy Van Winkle, $500 a pour, and watched his son's face on the Jumbotron. Nathan looked thinner. Vanessa's smile was Botox tight. Lots flew by. A lock of Elvis's hair. A tear from a dying nun, preserved in resin. The final text from a tech billionaire to his estranged daughter, I was wrong. Lot 9 came at midnight. The lights dimmed to a blood-red glow. A spotlight hit a single wooden chair, the one from Thomas's workshop, stolen from his porch and shipped overnight. A brass plaque read, property of T. Harlan, do not touch. Cashin's voice dropped to a purr. Ladies and gentlemen, we offer a rare commodity, the absence of Thomas Harlan. A father. A carpenter. A man erased from his son's life for 15 years. 1 year of guaranteed silence. No birthday cards. No hospital visits. No deathbed pleas. Freedom from guilt professionally enforced by ironclad NDA and GPS monitoring. Nathan stepped forward, voice trembling with rehearsed grief. My father, he was overbearing. Always building things we didn't ask for, treehouses, cribs, dreams. This isn't about money. It's about space. Vanessa added, clutching a tissue she never used, we're giving him peace. In Montana. Far away. Where he belongs. Thomas's knuckles whitened around his cane, hand-carved hickory, Clara's initials burned into the handle. Opening bid, $1 million. Paddle 12, $1.2 million. Paddle 33, $1.8 million. Paddle 77, Juno raised slowly, deliberately. $3 million. Gasps rippled like wildfire. Nathan whispered to Vanessa, who the hell is that cowboy? Bidding escalated like a fever. $5 million, crypto bro in a hoodie. $8 million, Saudi prince on satellite feed. $12 million, pop star's manager with a man bun. At $15 million, Nathan stood, face purple. $20 million. Vanessa hissed, we don't have 20. We'll leverage the Hamptons house. The yacht. The trust fund. The college funds. We need this. Juno raised her paddle, voice steady. $25 million. The room froze. You could hear champagne bubbles pop. Cashin smiled like a shark. $25 million going once. Nathan screamed, $30 million. Vanessa grabbed his arm. Nathan, stop. But Nathan was gone, eyes wild, possessed. 35. Juno didn't flinch. $40 million. The Jumbotron glitched. Cashin's composure cracked for the first time. $40 million going once. Nathan stood on his chair. $50 million. The room erupted. Security moved in. Vanessa fainted into a waiter's arms. Thomas watched his son bid his entire life into ruin. $50 million going once, twice, sold to Paddle 21. Nathan collapsed, sobbing with relief. Vanessa was carried out on a stretcher. The Jumbotron flashed, sold, absence of Thomas Harlan, $50 million. Thomas stood. The limp vanished. The unmasking. He limped to the stage, no, strode. The crowd parted like the Red Sea. Security moved in. Juno flashed a badge, Delphine's masterpiece, complete with holographic seal. Thomas removed the Stetson. The penthouse went dead silent. Nathan's scream shattered a champagne flute. Dad? Vanessa, revived with smelling salts, dropped her tablet. It shattered on the marble like ice. Cashin, unflappable until now, stammered. Mr. Boone, I presume? Thomas Harlan, he corrected, voice steady as oak. The lot you just sold for $50 million. He turned to the crowd. Billionaires, influencers, oligarchs, all frozen. 15 years ago, my son told me I was suffocating. So I left. I built birdhouses for strangers. Fixed widows' porches for free. Taught foster kids to carve their names into cedar. I buried my wife alone. And tonight, my silence was worth $50 million. He gestured to Juno, who wheeled out a cart. On it, the music box, walnut, gears gleaming, finished that morning. He wound the key. You are my sunshine, my only sunshine, filled the penthouse, slow and haunting. But some things can't be bought. Only built. Nathan lunged, face purple. Dad, please, this is a mistake. Thomas raised a hand. You bid $50 million for 1 hour of my time. Congratulations. You won. He sat in the wooden chair, his chair. Crossed his legs. The hour starts now. Silence except for the music box. Nathan tried tears. I was wrong. Vanessa said you were holding us back. Thomas adjusted his cufflinks, solid gold, engraved with Clara's initials, a gift from Reginald. Vanessa tried charm, voice shrill. We can be a family again. The kids, they'd love to meet you. Thomas examined a splinter on the chair, flicked it away. At minute 58, Nathan broke. I hate you, he roared, voice cracking. You're doing this to humiliate me. To punish me. Thomas stopped the music box. Stood. The room held its breath. No, son, he said softly, voice carrying to the rafters. I'm doing this to free you. You paid $50 million to never have to think about me again. Enjoy your purchase. He turned to the crowd. And to the men who bid $50 million, congratulations. You own my silence. But you'll never own my love. Or my grandchildren's laughter. Or the sound of a hammer at dawn. The room erupted in applause, thunderous, cathartic. Phones flashed. The Jumbotron glitched again, then displayed. The house that stayed. Nathan's hedge fund collapsed overnight. Investors pulled out. The Hamptons house foreclosed. The yacht repossessed. Vanessa filed for divorce, took the kids to Aspen, then Bali, then nowhere. Nathan was last seen sleeping in his Tesla in a Walmart parking lot. Thomas's music box went viral. Woodworkers recreated it. Fathers sent videos of their kids winding it. Hashtag some things can't be bought trended for months. He used the $28 million wisely. The Montana land became Crane's Haven, a carpentry school for foster kids, ages 8 to 18. Free tuition. Free tools. Free therapy. The Cabin, the Lullaby Lodge, free stays for widowed fathers, with mandatory woodworking classes and mandatory hugs. The auction house? He bought it for $1, the owners were bankrupt. Renamed it the Absence Workshop. First exhibit, the wooden chair, the music box, and a sign, Silence is golden. Love is hand-carved. 1 year later, a package arrived at the lodge. No return address. Inside, a child's drawing. Crayon. A stick figure man with a tool belt. A house with a crooked roof. 3 smaller figures holding hands. On the back, in shaky writing. Grandpa, I built a birdhouse. It's crooked. Can you fix it? Liam, age 7. Enclosed, a plane ticket. One way. Montana. And a note from Liam's teacher, he hasn't stopped talking about you since the video. Thomas smiled. Packed his tools. The music box. A new crib, oak, hand-carved, stars on the headboard. Some things couldn't be bought. But maybe, just maybe, they could be rebuilt. One nail at a time. He sold his father's silence for $50 million. But money can buy absence, never love. Some things can't be bought. Only built. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, it really helps. Watch the full video for more details.